So thanks everyone for staying late with us. It was a late night, we got started a little late, but here is the cast, the one-man crew and cast of the film. And Mr. Gallardo. So we will open it up for questions from the audience. Any questions?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Did you, for the writer, did you intend to write a tragedy? Because it's, a poor guy, loses the love of his life at the end.
It wasn't the intention, but I guess it just kept evolving that way. And then it just, I don't know, I guess during the pandemic, we kind of were like more depressed, so it just kept getting worse. And we had to rewrite the third act in order for it to, so we could shoot safely. So that third act, we had to change it all up. And so that's where it became more tragic.
Absolutely. What did the story development look like? And you mentioned that you were rewriting the third act, to kind of fit the parameters of the pandemic. How did it change throughout its production history?
The third act or the music?
The third act. I think you mentioned that as the kind of pandemic shifted, certain things shifted within the story. Maybe I misunderstood.
No, you're right. Basically, we had to use less actors. Like it was going to be much bigger and up close and personal. And so we had to do, you can tell like when we're shooting, there's like a character here, and I would film him, and then I would send the other actor home, and then I would do the lines. So we cut out, a lot of characters, did a lot of that. It's probably very good. The time jump too, it jumped 3 years. That was like the big creative part that actually, I think the pandemic helped a lot, was the time loop. And then in the original one, Diana wasn't going to die. They were going to actually fight off the cold, kind of like a home invasion movie. And it was going to be more brutal and like more intense. And she was going to be the one that saves him actually. So it pretty much evolved a lot.
Yeah, also in the third act, it was originally like a 2 or 3 hour time jump. He was only going to be held prisoner for a few hours. And, we were either going to go with that idea or her getting killed. But I started growing my hair out because the salons were closed. So I said, well, what if we write the hair into the story and just, instead of a few hours, it's a few years. So that helped reshape it. But it was I felt like it was kind of a positive out of a negative situation.
Yeah, we made the city a character for sure. We found like the only 2 basements in the entire city. I think that's because we don't have basements over there. Palm Springs, Indio, the desert, Boyle Heights, East LA. Subways. I think we saw a subway system in them at the beginning. It was just the 3 of us. Yeah. And the camera was like this small. That's why people thought we were YouTubers, so they would kind of leave us alone. So we'd just be filming all over the city. It made it easier. Also the 4K version of this looks amazing. Just so you guys know, it'll look good.
The director's always defended the movie, as you should.
I did a good job.
Well, we can't say exactly what the budget. It's under $100 million for sure. I'll just say it's it's the way he made, that mariachis and stuff. Because it was just us two, really. Yeah, for the whole thing, so.
So,
Having said that, the $7,000 situation, did that play anything as far as when you were doing it throughout this whole journey? Did that in itself kind of resonate with you as you were going through this film, this process? Yeah, because it looks like a huge. It looks like a bigger, obviously more than a one-man show.
Always, yeah.
So was Gallardo's legacy and Roberto's legacy always present?
Yeah, I mean, you know, in Robert's book, he spoke about working with what you have and who you have. So we kind of wrote the script around that. So I had, you know, my house, my basement, and, you know, we were able to use that, and just, you know, the resources, and people, you know, pitched in and donated, you know, time and whatever they had. So it was an amazing team effort. And yeah, I think that was, you know, El Mariachi was an inspiration to both Alberto and I. And I grew up studying film, but El Mariachi was the first movie that actually told me that I could do it. So it's pretty amazing for us to be on stage here with Carlos, just have to say.
Yeah, and then as far as like you're saying, like the budget, yeah, pretty much everything else, like I said, we snuck into places, and then that's why we drove in the car a lot. That was to save money on locations. It was like, oh, it fits, but you can see the entire city. And we drove over like San Pedro, like over the bridge. You know, that looks nice to shoot there. Mount Baldy, we went to the mountains, obviously, for the first like 6 minutes of the movie. I mean, pretty much everywhere, but that was the point. Like the budget was like, we can't spend any fucking money on this. Like we're poor, you know? Yeah, refugees.
I mean, you can see that even in the airplane. I don't know, where'd you pull out an airplane? The wreckage of an airplane, wow.
It just happened to fall and we.
No,
It's a location, but, so most of those locations were free. But that one we actually found, it was very affordable actually. So the few that we did rent were very cheap. Cause like you try to find other like YouTubers or filmmakers that do have money, and then they rent it out for cheap because they know we're like trying to hustle. And so they recognize that, so they're like, yeah, you know, like the penthouse was like $300, you know, for like 9 hours or something. Yeah, but the wreckage is a set on the desert. Yeah.
The airplane wreckage was actually a set that was part of the buildings that the cult are in, and also the house. So Diana's home that she goes to, it's all vacant, that was all in the same. Yeah, we pretty much did that all, like pretty much a day or two, right? Day and a half, yeah.
So what inspired the character Murdoch? I found him to be super fascinating and reminiscent of other characters that I've seen. Even what is it about them
He was just telling us right now, no Country for Old Men. Okay, good. Yeah, that was one, and then like Taxi Driver. So anything from the 70s, we wanted to go really far back, because instead of showing too many like recent inspirations, we wanted to go deep to where like maybe people forgot about these movies or just haven't seen them. That's why it's a little slower paced, and like the shots are kind of more methodical and the little slow zooms and stuff. But the other thing was to try to make like a 90s style movie, which those guys were making like kind of 70s movies too, if you look at those. So it was kind of like a mishmash.
Yeah, I've got a question. So, Adam, how much of your dialogue did you improvise, or did you just stick to the script?
I don't know, it might have been maybe half and half. A lot of the car scenes were improvised. Like with me and Carlos Gallardo in the front seat, that was all improvised. But I took some experience, because I was an Uber driver for a short time, so I took some of that experience, and what I said about people not sitting in the front is actually true. I mean, the majority of drivers, like 90%, would always sit in the back. So when someone sat in the front, you know, it'd be kind of, you know, I'd kind of question it. So I put that in there.
Yes, sir.
So this is more directed towards Carlos. Carlos, you're listed as a producer on this film. What was your involvement like on the day-to-day, or, you know, in terms of that? I know that you do a lot of acting, but you kind of mentioned before, you also do a lot of on-set producing. What was the experience like for you?
Well, in this film, I came at probably at the last 5% or less. But a lot of filmmakers want to work with me, but there's always a recipe. It's not like, yeah, let's go make a movie. There's always a recipe, and this recipe was the fact that they showed me their 90% of the film and how they did it. And then we shot in 1 weekend, right? All my scenes were shot in 1 weekend. But on the post-production, I was very much involved in talking to Alberto. But the fact was that they too were doing that. There was no crew, and that's what got my attention. Because I did a film like very much like this back in 2007 with also two guys that was called I don't remember the title, Hoodlums or something like that. And in that film I spent more time, but it was the same scenario. So basically, here it was just like stepping in another dimension and watching me and Robert go through the same experience in a little different scenario with different cameras, obviously more. The cameras nowadays are much easier as opposed to what we had, which was a 16mm average. So every time we would turn on the camera, it was money. Here, I think that for filmmakers, there's no excuse to say, well, the movie is this or the movie is that, because you can always shoot so much and then later on edit it, and then you have gold. Another example, Redcon 1. Redcon 1, we shot more footage than Kubrick, and one of the editors was Kubrick's. Kubrick's editor told us, man, you shot more than Full Metal Jacket. But I told the director for many years, because that movie took like 6 years to make, to get to the starting point. I said, you gotta shoot. So my message out there to filmmakers is that shoot a lot. Shoot because in the old days, shooting a lot, you couldn't do that because it was money. Even the studios even in Desperado, they would call us and say, you guys are shooting so much. Yeah, but you haven't seen the finished product. And there was always fights, man. It's like, you're shooting too much. Yeah, but you haven't seen the product. And that's why Desperado is also so quick and that was shot only in 8 weeks. But basically, the recipe I liked. And then obviously, we do everything behind the El Mariachi trademark and everything, and to introduce the most important thing, new filmmakers that possibly can get a chance and a break in this business. That's the most important thing.
And I like that. And speaking of that, what's next for you guys? What are you guys working on next?
Well, we're doing a Marvel movie. I mean, just kidding.
There's some other stuff coming up. Possibly, you can tell them about the.
Oh yeah, we do have an idea for a Western, and we already scouted a Western set outside of Los Angeles, so that's a possibility. I'm going to be acting and producing a horror film in Massachusetts. It's actually, we start filming a week from Saturday, so as soon as I arrive home, I have a few days to prepare, and I'll be actor and producer on that. But yeah, Alberto and I have, I don't know, at least a half a dozen concepts that we could grab at any time and shape, and yeah, probably be more contained next time, but we'll see. Yeah, this was a sprawling epic, and but really happy with how it came out.
And myself, as you can see, I'm losing weight. I gotta still lose about 50 more pounds. I'm gonna go and work again with the director Chi Kyung Chung, who did Redcon 1. And but basically, I'm doing a commercial film. It's El Mariachi meets the Born Identities. I'll be walking a lot in Mexico City. Not my idea, his idea, but he wants to do it. So I go, okay, fine.
Great. Now, unless we have any other questions? No? Okay.
Well,
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us today. We enjoyed having you here. And by the way, they're going to be with us the rest of the festival. Just a reminder, tomorrow is opening night, so we will be here again. We will have a mixer afterwards as well. So everything starts around 5:30, red carpet, and then screening the RGB short films, and then mixer afterwards. Again, everything will be happening here. We hope to see you tomorrow, and the festival will run up until Saturday, September 16th. Go to our website, STXIFF.com, and look at the schedule and everything else that we have up there. Workshops and panels also available. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you for coming out.